Former BC Premier Bill Bennett has passed away at the age of 83. Bennett himself succeeded his father as leader of the BC's Social Credit Party back in 1973. He then went on to lead the province from 1975 to 1986. Bennett did have Alzheimer's and had been suffering for a number of years. He passed away in his hometown of Kelowna. Political consultant Michael Geoghegan joins us now out of Victoria, BC, to talk about the career of Bill Bennett. What do you remember, Michael, most about this man?
Well, I certainly remember him as a capable but controversial premier. He came into power after his father, who had governed the province for 20 years, W.A.C. Bennett. The NDP were in for one term, and then he basically led the rebirth of the Social Credit Party, which was the Free Enterprise Coalition at the time. When he came in, he jacked up interest rates, he jacked up sales taxes, doubled ferry rates, which was very controversial. But he was very determined to not see the province drown in red ink. There was also in the early 80s the restraint period, which again, he cracked down on public sector unions in order to try and balance the books. But then, he finished off his over 10 years in politics with Expo 86, which in many ways launched the Vancouver that we know today, which is as, a world-class city that pretty much the entire world wants to move to and live in. So
you mentioned the fact that he was controversial, brought in a tax, for example, and a few other policies that were not met well with by the public, but still he must have been well respected and eventually appreciated for those things, considering he did serve for 10 years.
Absolutely. He was undefeated in politics. And so it was a thing where he wasn't afraid to be tough. And, he even provoked the province into a general strike in 1983. So, he wasn't a charismatic politician, but he was a tough politician. He was also a very witty politician. And, at the end of the day, he kept British Columbia from drowning in a sea of red ink. And by the time he left office, British Columbia was booming and people were feeling very happy. And in fact, that's what led to his successor, Bill Vander Zalm, winning a landslide victory.
Obviously, he was having some health challenges recently. He had Alzheimer's, was diagnosed, was suffering for a couple of years. Do we know much about his later life?
Well, unfortunately, it's all too common. A cabinet minister that I knew well, Bill Barlee, he spent the last few years of his life with Alzheimer's. So, Alzheimer's is a very, very cruel disease. And, it's one of those things which I'm sure caused a lot of heartache for the family. But it's worth keeping in mind that, he was married for 60 years. So, that's pretty wonderful and amazing right there.
All right. We'll leave it there. Michael Geoghegan is joining us today out of BC. Michael, thank you.
Thank you.